Hello friends and welcome to Study IQ English. I'm Joycey Joy and we are getting started with the continuation of Chapter 6 Sustainable Development and Climate Change. So this is the chapter that we were discussing in the previous video. This is Chapter 6 from Economic Survey 2021-22. We have already seen the overview of this chapter. We have also discussed about what is India's progress with regard to SDG or the Sustainable Development Goals. We have also seen the Niti Aayog's SDG India Index and performance of various states according to this index. And we also discussed about the state of environment, under which we discussed about the land forest, that is the forest coverage. Next, we also discussed about plastic waste management rules. Now we are coming to water. The next component or the topic that we will be discussing is water resources of the country. The groundwater level, coming to the groundwater, the annual groundwater extraction has been in the range of 58 to 63% during 2004 to 20. This is actually a long-term data, annual groundwater extraction. So, that is annually. On an year basis, the groundwater extraction, it is between 58 to 63% from 2004 to 2020. Extraction exceeding the annually replenishable groundwater recharge is concentrated in northwest and parts of South India. This is very important. Now, if you see India, the northwest, that is the region of Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, again Rajasthan, etc. Again South India, which includes Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. So these states, the southern states as well as the northwestern states. Here the extraction, groundwater extraction is noticed to be exceeding the annually replenishable levels. That is, what is meant by replenishable? Replenishable means which can be renewed. Suppose 50% of groundwater extraction takes place. This 50% will be recharged or renewed. That is replenishable, which can be renewed or can be replenished. So in these places, especially the southern India and northwestern parts of India, it is seen that the annual replenishable groundwater recharge is exceeding. That is, usage is more than what is the replenishable level. The share of overexploited units accounted for 14 to 17% of total assessment units during 2004 to 20. Overexploited, that is, extraction is more than 100%. Overexploited category accounts for about 14 to 17%. 1% of assessment units have been categorized as saline. 1% is categorized as saline. Now coming to rivers, very important. India declared river Ganga as national river in 2008. National aquatic animal has been asked in 2015 prelims exam. So you have to remember this also. National river is river Ganga and this has been declared in 2008. Namami Gange mission aims to protect, conserve and rejuvenate the Ganga river basin. This is a very important scheme of the government of India. Namami Ganga mission. This is to rejuvenate, protect and also to conserve the river basin of river Ganga. A Clean Ganga fund has also been created in order to mobilize funds for the cleanliness drive of river Ganga. Grossly polluting industries along the river Ganga has been re-inventoried. So those grossly polluting industries means those industries which cause a gross pollution to the river Ganga. They have been inventoried. Then Nirmal Ganga component of the mission. There is a Nirmal Ganga component for this mission, that is unpolluted flow. Nirmal is unpolluted. So unpolluted flow. Jan Ganga, that is people river connect. And Gyan Ganga is research and knowledge management. These are all components of Namami Ganga mission, sub-components of this mission. Now coming to air. National Clean Air Program in 2019 with a target to achieve 20 to 30% reduction in particulate matter concentrations by 2024. So, National Clean Air Program NCAP has been launched in 2019 and the target of National Clean Air Program was to achieve this 20 to 30% reduction in particular matter, that is reduction in PM concentrations by 2024. Coming to the steps taken to control air pollution. So, what are the different steps taken by the government to control the level of air pollution in the country? First one is vehicular emissions, that is to reduce the vehicular emissions, the emissions caused by the vehicle ultimately causing pollution to the air. First one is the BS6 norms for fuel and vehicles. Since 2020 April, we have adopted the Bharat Stage 6, that is BS6 norms has been adopted. Then cleaner and alternative fuels like CNG, LPG and ethanol blending in petrol has been adopted. CNG, LPG are considered to be cleaner fuels and apart from that ethanol blending in petrol has also been adopted. Phase 2 of FAME scheme. What is FAME scheme? FAME scheme is faster adoption and maintenance of electric vehicles and manufacturing of electric vehicle. The second phase of FAME 2 scheme has been adopted in the country for faster adoption of electric vehicles. That is a switch from the normal combustor engine vehicles to electric vehicles. Permit requirement for electric vehicles has been removed. So, a permit required for electric vehicles, this has been removed. Why? This is to incentivize the sale or the promotion of electric vehicles in the country. Coming to industrial emissions. So, these were the steps taken by the government to reduce vehicular emissions. Coming to industrial emissions, ban on the use of imported petcoke. Online continuous emission monitoring devices installed in highly polluting areas. Monitoring devices. So, online emission monitoring devices are installed in those areas which are considered to be highly polluting, where there are highly polluting industries. This is to constantly check the concentration of pollutants. Brick kilns have been shifted to zigzag technology. Brick kilns are also considered to be highly polluting, so shifted to zigzag technology. Now, coming to air pollution due to dust and burning of waste, the government steps in this regard. 6 waste management rules covering solid waste, plastic waste, e-waste, biomedical waste, construction and demolition waste and hazardous waste has been notified. So, 6 waste management rules are notified and these waste management rules covers separately solid waste, plastic waste, electronic waste, biomedical, construction and demolition and hazardous waste. Separate category of rules. Extended producer responsibility. In the last class, we have already discussed about the concept of extended producer responsibility, that is the producer being responsible or liable for collecting the waste generated back, and e-waste management. Next is burning of biomass and garbage. Garbage has been banned. Banning of burning biomass or garbage. These are the steps taken by the government to reduce the air pollution or pollution due to dust and burning of waste. Next is monitoring of ambient air quality. Air quality monitoring network of manual as well as continuous monitoring stations are set up. Pilot projects on low-cost sensors and satellite-based monitoring. Air quality early warning system. So, this is monitoring of ambient air quality. To monitor whether the air quality is good or not, whether it is livable or not. That is, air quality monitoring network of manual as well as continuous monitoring stations are set up. This is to ensure that there is constant monitoring of the air quality in an area. Then certain pilot projects, that is on an experimental basis, certain projects are run on low-cost sensors and satellite-based monitoring. Air quality early warning system, that is early warning regarding the deterioration of air quality has also been set up. These are the provisions. Now coming to climate change. 8 national missions as a part of National Action Plan on Climate Change has been already launched. This is very, very important for your examination, both prelims and mains. I suggest you to study this separately or we will have a separate session on this. So these are the 8 national missions: National Solar Mission, National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, National Mission for Green India, National Mission on Sustainable Habitat, National Water Mission, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem, National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. These are actually the 8 sub-missions. Okay, these are 8 submissions, and these submissions become a part of National Action Plan on Climate Change. Part of National Action Plan on Climate Change. These 8 submissions are adopted and each of them are important. You have to study it separately. Coming to major initiatives and achievements. National Hydrogen Mission. Target of 20% ethanol blending in petrol by 2025. That is 20:80. This should be the ratio. This is the target ratio by 2025. Then Indian Railways has set a target of net zero carbon emission by 2030. Net zero carbon emission. That is from coal it will be shifting. That's how net zero carbon emission. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uthan Mahabhiyan PM Kusum scheme. Then a scheme for development of solar parks and ultra mega solar power projects is under implementation. Development of solar parks and mega solar power projects. This is to maximum utilize the renewable energy, the solar energy. Rooftop solar program phase 2 for accelerated deployment of solar rooftop system. Offshore wind energy policy. So these are all the major initiatives and achievements of the Government of India in this regard. Now coming to major decisions at COP26 which was held in Glasgow. This was the latest one. COP26 adopted outcomes on pending issues of Paris Rulebook. So the Paris Rulebook, the outcomes on pending issues were adopted during this COP Conference of Parties 26. The Glasgow Climate Pact emphasizes adaptation, mitigation, finance, technology transfer, capacity building, loss and damage. Now coming to India's NDC. NDC is Nationally Determined Contributions. So India's NDC and its voluntary commitment on enhanced climate action. India's commitments made under the UNFCCC and its Paris Agreement reflect the principles of equity and common but differentiated responsibilities. So equity, that is equitable distribution of responsibilities as well as the resources, and also common but differentiated responsibilities. Common but differentiated responsibilities means every country has a common target or a responsibility, but it is differentiated. How? Differentiated according to the capacity of that country or that economy. So common but differentiated responsibilities. And India committed to reduce the emission intensity of GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 as compared to 2005 level. So first commitment of India, reduce the emission intensity of GDP. Second, create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent through a additional forest and tree cover by 2030. Additional carbon sink will be created. Achieve 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel energy resources by 2030. So apart from non-fossil fuel energy resources, create a 40% electric power installed, that is from renewable sources like wind energy, then solar energy, etc., tidal energy, etc. Coming to the finance for sustainable development. Sustainable Finance Group has been established by RBI. The Central Bank, Reserve Bank of India has established the Sustainable Finance Group. So this is to deal with financial risk associated with climate change. Next is augmenting finance for sustainable development. That is improving the financial sources for achieving the targets under sustainable development. A task force on sustainable finance has been set up by the Ministry of Finance. a task force on sustainable finance will be set up by Ministry of Finance. Then RBI joined the central banks and supervisors network for greening the financial system. Liberalized external commercial borrowings norms of RBI for firms to tap ECB route for raising finance through green bonds and sustainable bonds. RBI has liberalized the norms and conditions for external commercial borrowing. External commercial borrowings are sources through which Indian corporates can borrow from external world or from the rest of the world. Okay, norms are liberalized so that more finance can be raised through green bonds and sustainable bonds. SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is the regulator of secondary markets in India, has been one of the early adopters of sustainability reporting for listed entities and requires mandatory environmental, social, governance related disclosures as a part of business responsibility report. So, SEBI or Securities and Exchange Board of India is the regulator of secondary market in India, and it has already taken initiatives in order to make it mandatory for environmental, social, governance related disclosures. Now coming to India's initiatives at the international stage. First one is LIFE. LIFE is actually a campaign, Lifestyle for Environment campaign. It's a campaign and a mass movement for environmentally conscious lifestyle. That is, it's a campaign to adopt environmentally conscious or environmental friendly lifestyle. Next is very important, ISA or International Solar Alliance Green Grids Initiative, One Sun, One World, One Grid. This is an initiative of India under the International Solar Alliance. ISA has attained a permanent observer status at the UN General Assembly. International Solar Alliance has got a permanent observer status in the UN General Assembly. The strategic plan for ISA for 2021 to 26 for a period of 5 years identifies 3 key global issues. So, the strategic plan of International Solar Alliance has identified 3 major issues. One is energy access, another one is energy security, another one is energy transition. So, these 3 are identified as the 3 major issues which needs to be dealt with. One is access to energy, that is energy access. Second one is energy security, having enough energy sources for the future generation without exploiting the presently available resources. And third is energy transition. So, energy transition means moving or transmitting or changing from non-renewable sources to renewable sources. That is transmission or a transition from the existing non-renewable sources to that of renewable sources. Next is Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Infrastructure for Resilient Island States, IRIS. Then CDRI, that is Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructures, Global Flagship Report on Disaster and Climate Resilient Infrastructure, and DRI Connect. Next is Leadership Group for Industry Transition, LEAD IT Group, that is LEAD for Leadership and Industry Transition is IT. It is launched by India and Sweden with the support of World Economic Forum at the United Nations Climate Action Fund. This is important because there is a involvement of WEF, World Economic Forum. I'll be taking up this separately, that is LEAD IT Group, Leadership Group for Industry Transition. Okay, because it needs to be studied separately. So, we will be taking up separately. Actually, all those schemes which are not very well explained during the economic survey videos will be explained in detail for sure. Why I am not explaining everything in detail? Because I was receiving a lot number of comments that the videos are getting extended a lot and the time duration of economic survey videos chapter wise is also very lengthy. So that's the reason I'm not explaining everything. I used to do it in the first 2 chapters, but considering all the comments, I have done this now. So we will be taking up these schemes separately for sure. So that's it with regard to the 6th chapter. Thank you so much for watching. We'll meet again with the next chapter. Thank you. Wish you all the very best.